No Break family, welcome to another episode of our show. This has been a great week of wrestling, a lot of good pay-per-views, a lot of news, a lot of things happening in this wrestling world. Welcome one more time. It is time to talk about a show that was put together in a very fast pace, and that's Worlds Collide 2. It's the second time that NXT UK that said bye-bye, no more NXT UK. Is a brand that is closing for NXT Europe, so they took away the only show that we actually enjoy, Paul, and they did this pay-per-view. So a lot of title unifications, at least for me, a little bit of bitter taste in my mouth just because I wanted more stars to NXT UK, or from NXT UK to be featured a little better. But we're going to talk about everything, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this was all right. I think it did pretty much what I was going to, expect it to do. Some of the outcomes maybe a little different, but overall, I mean, this wasn't bad. It was definitely a lot better than than anything NXT 2.0 has done in a while. And I think that had to do with a lot of the, featured main event talent of NXT 2.0 and a lot of the stars of NXT UK.
Yeah. No, we're going to be talking about everything, also the one thing that was really cool from this last show NXT 2.0 is the show is awful, but all the guys that came back to reinforce the other superstars that we're going to fight. In the case of Dunn came back to support Tyler Bate, Gunter, Walter, same thing. We got to see Rhea Ripley, all of those people that came from NXT or NXT even UK to support the ones that we're going to fight right now. So thank you so very much, family. One more time, don't forget we have the review for All Out, and this is everything that happened on this show. CM Punk and John Moxley, MJF, all of those things. Be with us. We go through every single match, your outcome analysis and everything. At the style that we always do it. Well, this show started out with Carmelo Hayes going against Ricochet for the North American Championship. Good match, and really cool to see Ricochet finally in his environment. With somebody his size, somebody that can go toe-to-toe in the level, skill, intensity, ability, high-risk moving. So good match. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, they, like you said, they did a cool thing where in the beginning you see all the names of the people who Carmelo Hayes defeated. He's the longest reigning North American champion, and they had a great match. Like you said, it's like a mirror. It's two of the same, they wrestle the same style.
Yes.
And it gave you the RVD, what the heck is his name? Jerry Lynn, where it's the back and forth. No guy can hit each other, and the crowd was into it. The crowd was hot. You had Trick Williams or whatever on the outside.
He helping out. Of course,
he was interfering and stuff, and he actually, at the ending, he was the one who caused a distraction because Ricochet, he hits the recoil or whatever it's called, and then he goes up and he goes up top, or excuse me, no, he hit, was it a big superplex or something, or I forget what he hit.
Superplex right there.
To set it, he hit some move to set it up, the finisher, and he goes up to the top to hit the big 450 or whatever his big splash is. He goes up top, and Carmelo Hayes Trick Williams distracts him, and that gives long enough time for when he does it. Hayes rolls out of the way, he hits his finisher, or it gets the roll up, whatever, 1, 2, 3, and it surprised Ricochet, and they kind of but what do you do from here? Does he go back to SmackDown? Does he stay here, try to help this brand out? Kind of how you saw maybe a Apollo Crews, somebody like that.
Yeah, Apollo Crews is right there. Absolutely. Yeah.
This was a good match to start the show, and it was kind of showed the Worlds Collide isn't just to UK, it's to Raw and SmackDown.
Yes, it's like the whole WWE umbrella is what you have in there. So I liked it, and again, Ricochet was a part of NXT. Remember when he was actually with the Velveteen Dream, those rivalries? That's when everybody got to know Ricochet, and ever since then he's been just an afterthought. But here, hey, this is who I am. Remind everybody that he's here to put a good match with anybody. And Carmelo Hayes just solidified his character, his reign as champion. That was good. I really think that they did the right thing when it comes to that. So there you go. That's the first match that we have. Like you said, I enjoyed this for what it was. Really cool stuff. So now, Paul, let's talk about the first unification match. This was the tag team titles. We have, Pretty Deadly. Like you said, they changed their names, but we're going to call them for who they are, how we met them on NXT UK. I showed that we've done. Dan Paul, myself, ever since the comeback. And Pretty Deadly was one of my favorite ones. Creed the Brothers, Diamond Mine, and Briggs and Jensen, that they were the NXT UK champions. I don't know for what reason. And Godless Boys. What did you think of it? Because I enjoyed this, and especially the winners, because Pretty Deadly to me is a good tag team, and especially they have everything for them. Character, tag team moves, the names, everything, the whole gimmick. They lived it. So I'm okay with the wins.
Yeah, I mean, and this was an elimination match, which I liked. I think that makes it better. And then beforehand, you saw Roderick Strong was laid out. He was done. Yes. He was attacked, laying left for dead in the parking lot. And you didn't know who it was. So he wasn't there to maybe help Coach Diamond Mine, help them through this. And the first team that got pinned was actually Briggs and Jensen. They got pinned by Gallus. So, that was legit. But then right then, Diamond Mine made their big comeback, boom, boom, boom. And they beat the shit out of Wolfgang and they get pinned. So then that kind of sucks, you know what I mean? I thought, okay, maybe Gallus, because they just looked real strong. It would be like
the final and, the last two.
But no, it wasn't them. And then they start brawling with Briggs and Jensen, and that's going to play a factor later on. And, then it's them and Pretty Deadly, good back and forth with them. Pretty Deadly's good. Briggs and Jensen are still.
Like Farland and Lash Legend going at it. So that was
they were all there going at it. So lots of stuff. Then the big brawl, but it was. The ref had to slide to the outside because the pin was made right at the edge of the ring. So to see the shoulders, he had to step to the outside. So he's making the count while standing on the outside. Then the big brawl comes, runs into him, knocks the ref out. Then you see
Kemp.
One of the, I think it was Howley, or the brunette one, not the blonde one. He slides in with the chair. Howley. Yeah, he comes in with a chair. Stalker, And then, like you said, what's his name here?
Kemp.
Damon Kemp. He comes in and he helps him, and you think, okay, legit, but then he turns on him, whacks him with a chair. Pretty Deadly, they steal the win, and now we know who attacked Roderick Strong. At least they know Damon Kemp. So like you said, Bobby Fish, and like you said, Bobby Fish is he might be a free agent, so maybe Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong will be a tag team in WWE. Who knows? But I mean, this is one thing. Pretty Deadly. It's cool that they win. They're the unified champs. It's good to see at least some UK representation, with the titles.
And it's not that we're biased, but like that show was so good because I remember like when we had the matches with Walter, Ilya Dragunov, and even Pretty Deadly when they became the tag team champions defeating Gallus. All these episodes are in the channel, so please, go back. You want to see them? We're gonna, reminisce time with all of that. But like you said, this was for me. It should have been half and half. A little bit for UK, a little bit for NXT 2.0, not just NXT 2.0 all the way up. So at least this gave me a little bit of hope of what was going to be for exactly this particular match. But now, Paul, let's take me to the next one. That this was actually very, very good, and this was Meiko Satomura going against Mandy Rose and Blair Davenport, the women's unification match. And like I said, Mandy Rose actually looks great. I mean, not in literally also, but like also in a match. And the only reason for me, I thought that they put Blair Davenport here is because to make the match even easier. But like your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and I think it was one of the things where that you had her in a feud. She was doing stuff before, then you're about to cancel this show, and then what the heck? No, she deserves something. So I mean, she deserves to be in this match, and I mean, Mandy looked great. And, Meiko's good, and triple threats always suck because there's always somebody's an odd man out or somebody's laying on the ground waiting for their spot or whatever. But, I mean, this was pretty good. You saw Blair did like another, a big jump from the top. Every time she does a jump from the top, I get scared. But she's fearless, so she's tough. You got to give her that. But, I mean, this was good. And the ending sequence, you thought, Mandy Rose, she went for the big knee strike. Blair jumped out of the way. She goes to roll her up. Meiko comes in. She goes to hit the Scorpio Rising on Blair. You think that's it. But when Mandy Rose got, she was in the corner just waiting. She hits her big knee strike then on Meiko. 1, 2, 3. And I honestly thought they were going to do Meiko. I thought Meiko was going to be the champ here just because.
I thought so too.
Just because, I mean, at that point in the match, the way it was going, and I thought, or Blair. No, Mandy to me was the dark horse just because, she had the longest reign as women's champion, I think they said. And, okay, she had her time, but you have two legit women here. But, man, they're really trying to get Mandy Rose over. And I think you got to, Mandy Rose is putting in the work. I'm not saying she's going out there and she's wrestling better matches than Ric Flair and, Bret Hart or people like that. No, but I mean, she's getting better. She lives the gimmick. She's over. So, I mean, let her be champ and then let one of these other, people chase.
For me, like you said, I also support you. I'm going to go along because Mako should have been the one. Just because, like, also, like, it's been a while since Mako's been wrestling in the United States. So that was to me, hey, Mandy had her.
Yeah, that was cool when they showed the WCW footage.
Yeah, I mean, well, like you said, at least they own the rights to that. So, like, Mako Saramori is just somebody in the final goals, all of that. And to lose to Mandy, nothing wrong against her because this particular run, she's like one of those that has been able to reinvent herself. Toxic Attraction is good. It's the best thing that they have in NXT 2.0. We got to say it for what it is. It's the best thing, and not because they're hot, but it's just all that sex appeal mixed with good wrestling, good character, good heel actions. So that's what it is. And now to see just Mandy Rose own this division, that was cool. But I think the woman right here, Paul, is the one that is going to get those titles, and that's Alba Fire, formerly known as Kaylee Ray. So she's the one that is going to be, defeating Mandy Rose, I feel, for those titles. And, this is going to be really cool. Hopefully they give her the legitimacy that this woman had. The matches that we've seen with Meiko Satomura, all of that. Triple H understands this girl. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
If that's what they do.
Yeah, hopefully, because, this girl deserves way better than what she's been getting under Vince McMahon. I mean, I think everybody's been getting, like, really, really bad after Vince McMahon. So, like, I feel it's time to talk about the next one. And this was actually just a tag match because I don't feel that they have enough matches made for this. So, what do we do? What is Nikki Ash doing? Nothing. Doudrop. Hey, you guys want to come to the, performance center, do something? You know what? Let's do it. The match against Katana Chance or Kaden Carter or Casey Catanzaro, formerly known as that. What did you think of this? Because, hey, it's a decent match.
I mean, when they did it and they set it up, I thought, okay, this is the perfect way to get these NXT tag titles over. I mean, Jesus, Nikki Cross was a former champion, and Piper Niven is, she's the big bruiser.
Yes.
Okay, this should be a tag team. Obviously, they should win this thing. Toxic Attraction comes out, all this bullshit, this and that, distraction, everything else. Nikki Cross gets distracted. She's not in there to help her partner. I mean, it was a match that you would have saw this on NXT 2.0. You would have saw this on Monday Night Raw, blah, blah, blah. It was what it was. It was on the show, and I didn't care for it.
It was pretty, like...
Nothing against the competitors in there. It was thrown together. I didn't care for it for the aspect of the feud, of the build. The only thing that would have sold me on it is if you would have put the other two women over. You didn't, so,
Oh yeah, like you said, it wasn't like what you would expect it to be. Like again, it was just put together why we don't have anything else, pretty much. It would have been much better if Carmelo Hayes would have won maybe to a Noam Dar, because a lot of people are asking like, oh, what's going to happen with the Heritage Cup? Is it still actually a cup? Is there actually a champion there? Only time will tell. Well, let's go really quick, to like the main event, because this show at least was quick, and that's what we wanted, like not go too far. There you go, Tyler Bate going against, Bron Breakker. This was to me like the match of the night. I wanted Tyler Bate to win, here, because again, this guy represents NXT UK, the first champion, the last champion. I like how like they had Ilya Dragunov, all of those things, like they reminisce everybody, they gave them their first shot. But like you said, Paul, you've been saying this ever since you saw Bron Breakker. That's the future of WWE. The guy pretty much assembles everything. He has everything going for him. Cora Jade is the girlfriend, and he just has a good run as champion. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, this was a no-lose situation. Any of these guys, Tyler Bate's the better wrestler, but Bron Breakker, when you look at him, I mean, he's the guy, he passes the eye test more than Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate's a little shorter and everything else, and Bron Breakker looks more intense. But, I mean, both these guys are good, and I love the promo that they had before it, too, showing all the accolades of Tyler Bate, showing all the defenses he's had, all the defenses Bron Breakker had. And he's like, you're a big, strong boy. Well, I'm a freaking man. Just the lines and the stuff, it was good in this. And their match was great. Tyler Bate dominating early on, twisting the arm, going after that. When you attack the arm, you attack the shoulder. He can't set you up for that big power slam. Things make sense there, And then you see Bron Breakker, he's almost doing the same thing, going after the arm. Lots of good submissions, wearing each other down. You go for the bop and the bang. He blocks that. But he hits the Tyler driver, kicks out of that. Good stuff. You had him where he hit the big power slam, but it was near the ropes, so he got his foot on the ropes, and Bron Breakker couldn't believe it. All this stuff. I mean, the match, it was good, and like I said, it was anybody could have won this thing, but come on. Well, I think we all knew who was going to win this.
Yeah.
This was great, and I love it when he hits the bop and bang, and you think, oh my God, maybe he's going to win it, and he sets him up for the Tyler driver. He gets out, big power slam. Or I guess you would call, that's what you call it, big
power slam. It's like he lifts him up in like a military press to the power slam.
And then right, the big power slam.
That's his finisher that he's been doing.
And I mean, it was a great match.
Is in this situation, Paul, like you always say, it's like the guy that looks more of a wrestler. Like there's a huge difference in size in Tyler Bate and Bron Breakker. So that way, there is a no-brainer that who was going to be the champion.
And Tyler Bate's legit. He's not going to like a jealous champion. He's not whatever. The ref had the belts. Tyler Bate went up to him. He's like, no, give me them. I'm going to hand them to him. We're going to be legit. He handed it to him. And it's badass because you know what? Now, anybody who is a good heel who's built up, and on this show, man, they really don't have too many of them. But it could even, he could even go right into a feud with Carmelo Hayes immediately. Yeah. If he's going to be on NXT 2.0, Tyler Bate could come out and Carmelo Hayes and them could come out and say, man, you want to say you were the champ, you're bullshit, you're just going to hand him the belt like that. I would never hand him the belt because I'm never handing anybody my belt. I'm the forever champ. I'm the A champ. I'm not, whatever. And so Tyler Bate, I think, will be fine. I don't think this hurts him at all, dropping the belt here. And the same thing with Mako and Blair and stuff, because Triple H is involved and those are his people. I don't think he's going to get to see them jobbed out and made look like losers and stuff. And who knows, maybe even Mako will go right to the main roster.
Maybe.
We don't know. I mean, but overall, I think Worlds Collide
is over.
I think this was a pretty good. I think this was a pretty good, showing for them. I won't say this was great. Out of all the 3 pay-per-views we did, this was definitely the weakest one, but it was still a pretty decent showing.
It was. And again, and one more time, we want to say goodbye to NXT UK. NXT UK, we love you. It was great. Thank you for all the love and support that you guys gave us thanks to that show. So, hey, we'll meet again 2023 for NXT Europe. There's a lot of expectations. They're going to bring new guys. Like said, like even the same guys from like in UK plus more. So we'll see what they do with a lot of people like the Tyler Bate. Are they going to be in the States? Are they going to stay? Are they going to come back? We'll see. Only time will tell for NXT 2.0. Congratulations to everybody that won. And for us, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Help us out. We want to keep growing, and only you guys can help us. Wherefore.
And make sure you follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...